Good morning, everybody. I hope you are doing well. It's about 9:40 a.m. here in Istanbul, Turkey, and I'm going to give you guys a great tactical analysis from my phone. So, good morning. I hope everyone's doing well. So, there's been some major news that has unraveled last night while I was asleep, and it's this one right here. So, Tesla has dumped 75% of its Bitcoin holdings after a year of touting long-term potential. So the main reason why they did it was because Tesla needed cash flow. They wanted to protect themselves against inflation right now, and I suppose that having more cash flow would be beneficial to them. What surprises me is that he's always been a Bitcoin bull, and they were going to eventually accept cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, even Dogecoin at one point, right? He tweeted that they were going to accept it as a payment system for Tesla vehicles, but that never came to fruition. And he also said that it's possible for them to buy back into crypto sometime soon. Okay, so I wanted to give you a top tier technical analysis today in terms of the perspective of somebody who trades over $1 million. For those that don't know me, my name is Philakone Crypto, and thank you very much for joining me in my channel. My goal is to provide you with one of the best top tier technical analysis available on Twitter, where I am a professional day trader that does this full time. Not only that, I'm also a crypto investor holding long term as well. You might be seeing me taking many small day trading positions. Sometimes when it's really big, I'll swing Bitcoin like I am right now. And of course, always and forever, I'll be holding and dollar cost averaging crypto for the long run. So I do have a course. I've got one copy left right now. Okay, there's one copy left for my July package that I'm having because I've got one book left. It goes for $10.50 right now. It's on sale from over $2,000. You're going to get a lifetime Discord membership in my group. You're also going to get the course version 2.0, full of the full package, the full course, which is 29 hours over 53 different videos that's shared privately to you, and you're also going to get my book that's mailed out to you. And I'm talking about this guy right here. I actually wrote a book. It's called the Philakone Course version 2.0. This is the second edition that's come out now. It's the Ultimate Trading and Rules Guideline. It's a very beautiful book from what everyone has said so far. I only printed a limited amount and I'll be doing so for a while. Therefore, they're very difficult to get a hold of. So if you're wanting to take your trading seriously and to the next level, it's a really good investment that you can make in yourself. Okay, so right now, if I were to take a look at Bitcoin, I first of all see that the moving average, the 200 moving average is very significant. For the longest time in history, for 8 years now, we have held traditionally above or near that 200 moving average. And every time the RSI gets extremely low in these particular ranges, what ends up happening is Bitcoin provides a huge bounce. So the big question is, will we end up bouncing here as well? If you take a look at oversold regions, down over here, it definitely bounced. Also, we're looking at over here, that bounced as well in those particular ranges. And then we take a look here as well, that ends up bouncing as well. Another major region where RSI is oversold is right now. So in these oversold regions, will we bounce to the upside? The 200 moving average is being heavily tested right now, where we broke to the upside to about 24,300. And now because of the pressure from Tesla selling off last night, where they averaged $29,000, we ended up breaking below that $23,000 range, and that might start to bring us a little bit lower than the 200 weekly moving average. But if you take a look at all the charts, they're still trending to the upside right now. Let's go to Bitcoin on Binance. So you see Bitcoin still trending up on the weekly here. We still got about 3 days left for the weekly close. So it's gonna really come down to that close. The 4 days still going up. The daily is still going up. The 2 days still going up. Like every indicator still says that we're in a major swing to the upside. But unfortunately, on the lower time frames, like the 4 hour, we're finally getting that bearish divergence on our side with a lower high. We're getting that crossover coming to the downside. So I want to give you a really nice Elliott wave count, okay? So the way that my count goes is it goes something like this. But there's many possible counts as well, okay? I'm unsure of this count, to be quite honest. I was really sure of it last night. I ended up longing a lot of Bitcoins last night. So this could be it right here. In terms of a 1, a 2, there's a 3 still making, a 4, and a 5, okay? So if this were the actual count right here, we still have some room to go. See that? So this looks like a very decent count in my eyes. And we've also got a trend line between where wave 1 originally begins, where wave 2 touches, and wave 4. That could possibly build a trend line. And if you take a look at here, with 3 is actually not done yet, this path could end up leading up to about 29K. The reason why I say 29K is because that's where the previous resistances were. Okay, right around here. If you take a look at where, or sorry, the previous support was, that's where it is roughly. So that previous support is now going to act as a major resistance. That range there is beautiful because it accounts for many bear trapped regions. So if you take a look at further back here in June, right, it ends up averaging out to roughly 29K. And this ended up holding for a good range. So this ended up holding for a range of roughly 33 days. So there's no doubt in my mind that the $29,000 is the next resistance. So if that were the official wave here, you can break it down further, okay? You can break it down by saying that this here is now 1. Okay, this is now 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 5 up there, A, B, C down. And then this could be making here, right? This could be making a 1. Let's just draw this one in here for us. So if this were to make a 1, well, could that be a 2? Like that? Or is this in 2 where the ABC is created? Right, that's possible. There's probably a small 1 in there maybe, a 2 in here, right? But that's also unlikely where there's a small 1 in there and a 2 in there, in my opinion. So because of that, I have to back up and start drawing it like this instead. I'm going to have to draw it like 1. Okay, that's probably a 2. And if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, well, that's just a 3. A 4 is being made, and then perhaps a 5 somewhere up there. Okay, so then we're finishing off a 5. I don't know where this 3 is going to be at, or the 4 or the 5. So that's one possible way to look at it. Now here's another way to look at it. So instead of your 1 there, you got your 1 finishing up already, okay? Really possible. And now if that were the case, then you're going to get your 1 looking like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which makes kind of like a diagonal. Okay, so if that's the case, it's finished. And then you end up getting here. So the charts are definitely reflecting the sentiment in the market right now. I'm not sure if Tesla's major sale is going to heavily impact this possible progression or not. 1, 2, this could be a 3, and that could be a 5, where the 5 is huge, right? So is that a possibility where the 5 got extended there? I'm not sure about that. I'm more so leaning on this fact, okay? This one here looks better to me, where this is now making a 1, maybe a 2 there. Like I mentioned, there's different variations, and 3, and there's a 4 coming, and then there's a 5 going up still. So my target is still roughly 25,000 for this third wave. The third wave is not complete, I don't think. And now a major resistance before now turns to a support. And this needs to stay above, in my opinion. We need to stay above, first of all, this region here, which is huge. I'm going to delete this alert to clean it up a little bit. So if we delete this alert, this is your first major resistance, which needs to be a support now. So Bitcoin needs to stay above $25,600 range. That's crucial for us to stay in a bullish sentiment. Now, if you take a look at that yellow trend line that I drew between like this guy on the bottom there, that's absolutely forming a trend line. And because it is, right, we're gonna probably get some relevant support above that yellow trend line from a technical perspective. Okay, so we might fall down below that 22,500 momentarily, but that's okay as long as we hold above this line. So that could get to a low of like 20, whatever this may be. It can get to a low of like down over here somewhere, right? So perhaps we're talking like 22K, but I don't think it's going to go to like down to way over here. It's probably going to end up holding, and we're going to get a very bullish run still going because the weekly charts are still incredibly bullish. Okay, that RSI where the weekly gets oversold combined with the market sentiment always being driven upwards near that 200 moving average, combined with there's more Bitcoin wallets right now ever in the history of Bitcoin, combined with the fact that the wallets holding 0.1 Bitcoin and 1.0 Bitcoin is at an all-time high right now. So these are some significant reasons to still believe that we can make a higher high. And based off of Elliot wave theory, unless the wave fails, then we're gonna end up dropping heavily to the downside. So I'm not really sure of the exact count, but if this is one count, with the 3 still missing. If this is another count, where we get a 2 in there, this is now a 3, with a really extended third there, then we're gonna find a bottom here at the yellow line still, right? Like that's really possible in my opinion. So let's see how this plays out. And I don't know about this guy, but this is the one that I'm banking on the most, 25K. I originally thought that this was going to channel. Unfortunately, the channel breaks down, right? Not all channels will hold. Like I originally thought that we were gonna channel something like this in here. Like that. Let me draw it better. Because we get a lot of points of intersection here and it made sense. But of course we break through it because of that Tesla sell pressure. So that's now invalid. And now we're facing this particular support range right here above the 25.5 region, which is critical to hold in my opinion. So if we end up holding here, it's going to be great. We're going to start the fifth subwave in the third wave. Taking your fib retracement, we see that this next wave ended up doing way greater than 1-to-1. So the big trend line, in my opinion, to be looking at is this one here that's been forming for a while now, for 18 hours, since yesterday at 10 o'clock. Or yesterday at what time here? 6 o'clock. That's where it began. So this trend line has been forming for about 16 hours now. So we break to the upside of this trend line, I think it's going to be go. So I'm very excited about that. Of course, we can still trend to the lower side here. Okay, like around $22,000. That's definitely a possibility still. I'm talking to these lower ranges where it's going to end up squeezing. Okay, so that's still possible. Keep an eye on that, of course. Seems like there's still lots of potential. I mean, this ended up forming over 30 days. Okay, this right here. And it took us a long time to break above it, like literally 30 days to break above it, 36 days. So if it takes us 36 days to break above it, wouldn't you assume that there would be some small support that could hold it? Yeah, I would assume so. Also, there's many different possible support ranges around there. Just if we take these two trend lines and draw it outwards, right? It's forming a squeeze, but you just never know in these markets. The main thing to take away from this video is that this yellow line right here is probably going to end up holding as a major support trend line, because that's been holding for it's been running for since the 13th. So since the 13th, that's a really long period of time now. That's so about 8 days so far. So wouldn't you assume as well that this would end up holding? So right now, despite the sell-off from Tesla, I'm actually still really bullish on Bitcoin. Just because based off of the technical analysis that I see here, it impacted Bitcoin severely, but it was during a correction anyways. It just catalyzed the correction further and made the dump a lot worse than not, right? If Tesla didn't sell off, maybe the correction would have reached not as low of a level, right? But because it was during a correction anyways, it just drove down the market further. So he definitely did catch top and during a correction cycle, which is good for him, right? It's Elon Musk after all. So key thing once again to take away from this video is that 22.5-ish is a strong resistance. That's now a support. This yellow trend line is major as well. And also the big resistance is 29K. Is this possible? The road to $29,000. I think that it's definitely possible. Like this guy here is more likely to hit 25 first run, because we're going to see this resistance. Trust me, this resistance is going to be strong. So the third wave is probably going to go maybe 24.5, maybe if it ends up finishing. Right, so not there, maybe a little bit over here. 25.5, I meant 25, 24.5, around those ranges. But nevertheless, this is going to act as a major resistance because it has thus far. So now it seems like we've got a range to play. Right, the range of Bitcoin is pretty clear now, isn't it? That's the range. So is this an expanding type of triangle that's of some sort that's being played? Right, do you guys see this? Isn't it beautiful? This range that we see, that's now completely demarcated and isolated for over 8 days now. Bitcoin has defined the range. So now that yellow line must hold. If it doesn't, we're going to have a major bearish sentiment. You might be asking myself, how could a line hold? How could we depend on just a line? Trust me, you can psychologically when it comes to crypto. It's happened many times before where people see the exact same thing and they are going to see it as a major support, as the way that I see it right now. So keep an eye on this break and squeeze coming up. This is the road to $29,000 possibly sometime in the next, I'm going to guess, 3 weeks. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button, the subscribe, and the notification button if you have not already. And also make sure that if you guys are interested in the very final book that I have, it's only going to be sold as a package. It's sold for $1,050 by crypto or credit card. And it's going to come with the book, the course of version 2.0 book, the course of version 2.0 second V2.0, which comes with 29 hours of video lessons and also 53 lesson videos as well. It's also going to come with a lifetime Discord membership to my Discord trading group. So I hope to see somebody pick up the very last one. You'll be very happy you did, in my opinion. It's going to be a very good investment in yourself, and you also get an opportunity to learn and trade with a top-tier trader that's been in this space for a very long time. So have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in my Discord group. Bye now.